Deepika, when you guys launched the product last year, there was sort of a backlash on social media platform when it came to pricing of 82 East. So how did you recover from there? Many consumers said it's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So how did you recover from there? Whom are you targeting, with 82 East? If you can throw in more details, and if you can share, how did you deal with that backlash in the first place?
Sure, of course. I mean, I think specifically on pricing, I'll have Jigar come in, but I don't think it's a come back or bounce back. I think the way we've been able to do that is to be consistent and to be true to who we are. And I think that's how we've been able to grow a successful brand in the last 1 year. And we will continue to do that. And I think as far as celebrity brands or celebrities in general getting, backlash or getting trolled, I think it's a part of what we do. And I think as long as you put your head down and you keep going, and you're, like I said, I think as long as you're true and honest to what you do, I think you'll always move ahead of the tide. Yeah.
This space also has some of the legacy beauty players, skincare players present. So how do you deal with that competition, considering they're also getting very aggressive on digital channels?
I think again, what Deepika rightly said, right? Staying true to who we are and what we are here for. The pain point that we saw in the market was that of skincare being very complex, that being a lot of content overload. We wanted to focus on simplifying that entire world of skincare, especially in a country like India, which is still at a very infancy stage in terms of skincare or beauty in general. So staying true to our simplification story, what we call the cleanse, hydrate, protect, or the CHP framework. It's unique to 82 East, and focusing on our consumers versus focusing outside, right? That's really how we sort of approach.
And Deepika, when you guys started off with 82 East last year, I saw you actively, interacting with influencers, going out there, spending time with them, explaining the products, using the products with them. If you look at the journey over the past, 1 year, of course, a lot of customer base would definitely have been built through this influencer engagement. But how exactly, other than that, have you built the customer base for 82 East over the past 1 year?
I think it's to be a consumer myself first. I'm not one of those celebrities, and I don't know what other people do, honestly, but I'm someone who just I walk the talk. So if I'm selling you a 2,500 rupee product, then rest assured I'm also using it every day. And I think that's the best way to build your consumer base. Of course, apart from that, there are other ways in which we engage our community, and it's a consistent. I think we do that consistently. We do that authentically. We do that honestly. But I think there's no better way than to walk the talk.
Jigar, if you see over the past 1 year and moving forward also, the D2C market is expected to grow exponentially to the tune of, let's say, somewhere around $100 billion. And fashion and beauty brands specifically are supposed to be the growth drivers going forward. Being in this space, what are the areas, or what is the growth strategy that you have, and areas that you will invest in going forward?
That's a good question. I think D2C, I believe, will not be the sole channel for distribution. It will coexist with other channels, and I think there's a lot of talk both ways about D2C not working as well as D2C being the mainstay, and I feel like D2C exists somewhere in the center. So as long as businesses look at D2C more as a sort of a channel to be closer to their consumer, to understand and talk to their consumer, I think those are aspects that I would think will work, and that's where we constantly invest a lot of time in making something which is very, very consumer centric. In fact, that's precisely the reason why we've been D2C only so far for the last 1 year. And now we feel like we are at a point where we'll expand into multiple channels, right? So I would say investing in a very consumer focused kind of an approach and utilizing D2C for that purpose makes a lot of sense. In addition to that, I would say like focusing a bit on logistics and warehousing. I think that there are a lot of sort of areas of improvement there, right? So Those are two aspects where you can utilize tech and build something which is truly value accretive for your consumers.
Any plans to go offline as well?
Absolutely. I think we are at a point where, and this was a conscious choice, it was a strategy that we deployed from day zero, that for the first year we're going to be D2C online only, get it to a point where we feel like we have enough of a product assortment, get it to a point where we feel like, as I mentioned, right, like our solution is even working, right, and then spend money in expansion. So expansion is not just across channel, whether it's offline or marketplaces, expansion is also geography. And expansions also, as we discussed earlier in the
Any
conversation.
specific markets that both of you are looking at? Any specific markets that you guys have discussed?
Well, we're a brand born in India for the world, so take your cue from that.
Oh, for the world.
Having said that, we currently ship to over 50 countries. We already do that, and we've been doing that. We started, I think, with 36 countries, if I'm not mistaken, and now up to 50 countries. I don't know if you want to share more.
I mean, we have capabilities to ship to about 150 countries, right? And when we say it's not a loose statement that I'm making, there are 3 layers of execution challenges that you have to solve when you want to ship outside. The first layer is, of course, logistics. Second layer is customs. And the third layer is the FDA or the regulatory sort of a framework specific to that country, and that changes from country to country, right? So when we say we've cracked that, it's a big deal, because at least for us, from an execution standpoint, it's a lot of work to be able to have that confidence that we can ship to 150 countries. And as she said, we've already shipped to 50 plus countries.
Beauty and skincare brands are moving beyond just speaking about ingredients and actively driving conversations, when it comes to shaping culture, shaping perceptions. So how do you look at this as the responsibility, as your responsibility, being a brand custodian and being an entrepreneur, being the founder of 82 East?
Again, I think it's about being authentic and being honest. And of course, I think, when you're in that place and in that position, it extends into every aspect of everything that you do. So, not just in the beauty, beauty space, but I think even with the choice of films that you make, I think with that comes a sense of responsibility. And I'm not saying everyone's always going to get it right, but the endeavor is that, the attempt is that. But I think most importantly, I think you have to be authentic and honest to everything that you do.
Although Deepika is at the heart of marketing for 82 East, the brand has also weaved an interesting brand strategy around product drop, owning key cultural moments over the past 1 year. 82 East's Chief Marketing Officer gives more details.
The brand's journey linked to the product drop strategy that you're well aware of is to look at local and global moments and convert them into brand moments that we can embrace and use those moments to educate our consumers and inform our consumers about our products, about our ingredients, about our formulations, and also inform them about simple self-care practices that they can imbibe in their everyday lives. So that's what we've been busy doing for this past 1 year. And through it all, I think we've developed a strong community of followers, not just on our social media platforms, but also a really strong user base.
Yeah, and also a lot of engagement with the influencers is what I have seen since the launch of 82 East. Tell us, how has that worked? And some of the pros and cons and do's and don'ts when you engage with influencers for a brand like 82 East.
We are a celebrity-owned brand, and so we surely know, and we rely and leverage the power of our celebrity co-founder, Deepika Padukone, to kind of use the power of her influence on her community and our community to drive forward this whole notion of self-care and of skincare.
Yeah, and one of the things that I noticed particularly about 82 East is, as as a brand, it started with 2 products. I remember back then in November 2022, and over the past couple of months, there has been a new product drop, is what I have seen by the brand. So how do you probably make a strategy around that, make a marketing strategy around every new product that is being launched in frequent intervals?
So, the product drop strategy of launching a product every month was a very intentional strategy. It was a very thought through and a very intentional strategy of our organization. So, to keep pace with that, we in the marketing function had to come up with a strategy that will keep the excitement going, in fact build curiosity towards what is the next product from this brand, right? So, our game plan was to ensure that we constantly build curiosity while at the same time educating our consumers and informing them about the products that have already been launched. We leverage cultural moments, we leverage local and global moments that our celebrity co-founder Deepika Padukone is involved in. It could be a movie release of hers, it could be a global moment or an occasion that she is participating in, or very often we've leveraged the community to be involved in the launches of our products. So, we come up with innovative and new creative ways to launch our product.
To drop a new product.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Shibani.